welcome everybody to the Homestead Miami Speedway here for the third race of the season here for the Elite Championship Racing League. There's going to be a proper way to word that at some point. The Elite Championships, oh my goodness, the Elite Championship. Well, my brain is obviously fried today, so we'll see how this goes. Off to a fantastic start. The Elite Championship Racing League with the GTR Sim Series. There we go. That's about the 20th time being the charm. Once again, we are here at the Homestead Miami Speedway for the third race of the season. And we're currently just waiting for qualifying to wrap up. Currently about 4 minutes left, and while we do have time available, we're going to go ahead and look at our standings after race 2. That should be corrected after the Daytona Road Course. Which, of course, well, that came out with Joey Stats coming out on top with last week's race win. Again, that should be after race 2, the Daytona Road Course, not after race 1. The one thing that wasn't updated, sadly, in the meantime, though, is Joshua Susi and Stephen Massey first and second in the point standing still. Jordan Mackey third place. Joey Stats with that win from last week jumped a staggering 21 positions up from the first race of the season. Jeremiah Stutzman rounds out the 5th place position after gaining 5 places as well compared to last week. Kirk Quist, Christopher McCullough, Anthony Thitchener, Josh Mayhew, and Mark Figueroa round out your point standings. Currently, I don't believe we have any sound, unfortunately, so we'll see what we can do when it comes to that. In the meantime, though, Stephen Massey is going to be leading the field around. Apparently, we do have sound. There's just no, for some reason, no PA audio, but Stephen Massey currently sits 20th in qualifying. Right now, let's take a look at somebody who's actually starting their lap time, Brad Bothwell. Brad Bothwell, I don't believe has yet set a qualifying time. This might be his out lap. It was waiting until about the last 3 minutes to set a lap time. So we'll see how he fares here coming into this afternoon's event. At the same time, we might have to raise the volume just a bit over on here just in a few moments. So we'll see what we can do with that. But luckily, everything's working and nothing is caught on fire, which is all that matters here. Brad Bothwell going to be the 28th driver to set a qualifying time across the start-finish line. Places first right on his first lap. If I was him, I would call that a day, and I think he is. Yep, he is definitely slowing down, and he might be calling that a day, and I would too as well. John Mankowski, the only driver yet to set a qualifying time out of the 31 drivers here total. Same with Jeremy Rubin. I don't believe Rubin is here. So we do have 1 minute left in qualifying, 1.5 minutes left. So we're going to take this opportunity to take a quick look, actually, at everything else. But in the meantime, it's going to be a very, very exciting race here. 134 laps at Homestead Miami Speedway going into the sunset for tonight's event. That's going to be a very key thing. It's the track state changing throughout this race, especially by a lot, considering in sim time, if I can remember properly my 24-hour time conversion, which at the moment I can't. I believe 16 hours is about 4 p.m., so it's just coming up to 5 p.m. in sim time, and that is going to be that's going to be going across as well by 2 times 2 speed. So instead of ending the race at, say, about 7 p.m. in sim time, it could be by about maybe 8 to 9 p.m. in sim time, hence the 2 times speed. Let's see if we can actually get our starting grid up without issues, and we have issues. So that did not take long, unfortunately. So we'll wait to see what happens here when it comes to qualifying and our standings, and we might have to reset it once again. Not sure as to why, but that's the beauty of technology. We're not sure what's broken, but if it works, then it's fine. 10 seconds left as well in the qualifying session, so we're going to be going very quickly into our starting grid, going through all 31 drivers here that are expected to start this afternoon. We'll see. We'll give this one more chance. I'll go ahead, and give you your starting grid coming into tonight's event. Once we get everything back up and running properly. Apologies for the issues. I'm not sure as to why that was doing that, but we'll figure that out in the meantime. And there we go. In first place is going to be Brad Bothwell in that first place position. Fast time, almost a tenth of a second faster than Andrew Hibbs. So second place is going to be that number 9 car. Joshua Susi starts off in the third place position. John Caudill will start off in fourth place. Fifth place going to be Matthew Smethers, with Joshua Johnson starting in sixth place. Seventh place, Joey Stats, who got provided setup by Pay to Win Setups after winning a race last week. So far, seems to have earned him a very good top 10 time. Jay Anderson starts off in 8th place, 9th place being Jonathan Boger. Josh Mayhew rounds out the top 10 in that 0-2 machine. And then we go down to 11th place being David Moody and Ryan Hedrick. Starting off in the 12th place position in that number 23. James Wallace in the 51 starts in 13th. Trey Davis starts 14th in that number 30. Number 30 to be more to enunciate a bit more. Gary Bauer starts off in the 15th place position at just about the halfway point of our field. Mark Figueroa starts 16th. 17th place going to be Anthony Thitchener, with Jeremiah Stutzman starting in 18th. 19th place is Matthew Hibbs, with Jeremy Freer rounding out the top 20. And at 21st, it's going to be Stephen Massey. Daniel Reese starts off in 22nd. 23rd is Jim Westerfield, with Kurt Quist starting in 24th. Top 25 is rounded out by Matthew McCann. Michael Leiby starts in 26th. And 27th is Jordan Mackey. And Ken McCauley Jr. starts off in 28th. With Chris McCullough rounding out the 29 cars that have started the lap time, that have set the lap time more specifically. And then Jacob Greider will be slotted to start 30th, 31st Jeremy Rubin, apparently 32nd. Going to be John Mankowski. It looks like all drivers as well, luckily, will be able to start this race. As we currently await the green flag here at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's just a matter of waiting now at this point to see, well, who's going to be ending up where. Will we get a full green flag run? Will we even get pit stops in the first place? That's something to find out here coming into tonight as the pace car gets ready to give the field control over to the 96 of Brad Bothwell. Now the base car is pulled off and the green flag flies. We're now officially underway here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Just like that, Brad Bothwell with a fantastic lead. Andrew had the jump on the initial start, but unfortunately with that run down turn 1 in the inside lane, it didn't exactly work out too well to the favor of Andrew Hibbs. He continues to fall back at you on the inside lane, not sure as to why. He's having significant issues keeping control of that car, at least by the looks of it. He's not running the inside lane. He might be struggling, so he might have to make some self-adjustments at some point. That's really the only time they do that was during pit stops and use a rival option. Even then, well, it might be coming sooner rather than later because the caution is out for a huge crash in the back. I believe that's John Mankowski. That is a round correction. That's the 05 of Daniel Reese that went around in the back. see what we can find out here with what happened to Daniel Reese in the 05 machine. In fact, we might have to slow things down here momentarily. It might have been up ahead, but we'll wait. And in fact, it was just up ahead. Oh man, just nowhere to go. The 87 and 93. 87's off track. The 93. John Mankowski, just nowhere to go. We're right on board John Mankowski here. I just could not react in time, unfortunately. Well, we'll see what happened here with Anthony Fitchener. Some of the field actually is going down into pit road to at least repair their car. That is the 27 machine up on the top side. And just comes down. Oh, and then Netco directly after. Ooh, a few fantastic avoidances there. It's not entirely sure exactly what happened with the 27 there. Garrett Bauer might have had some issues. We're right on board here. Lots off the throttle. May have been trying to avoid the wall. I'll take one final look here with the entry and exit. Get the actual correct car. There we go. Yeah, just tried to come off the wall. Came down a bit too much, unfortunately, and then made contact with Fitchener, and ooh, just behind them as well. We're now at 1-2 green here for the second restart. We'll see if we can actually get our sound levels a bit better, essentially. Since unfortunately some of the microphones are, at least on the cameras here, are absolutely incredibly high. So we apologize for that. And for some reason that decided to not go through. That's what I had in mind. So apologies for that, but now I have everything sorted back out once again. I'll see if we can get, let's see if we can come across a green flag run as well. Drivers that did go to pit road. Well, it's quite a few. Pretty much from about 17th all the way on back. Some drivers didn't really need to go to pit road. Some may have passed, just driven through pit road as well. It's a whole host of different strategies. Some drivers taking tires 5 laps in. So we'll see how things go as the green flag flies once again here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Now side by side for the lead, Joey Stats, who qualified 6th. That setup may have come in handy. It may have not been built for qualifying, at least not to his liking, but is built at least for race conditions from what we see here already. 8 laps into this run. Looks to be the 7 machine of Jonathan Boger down on the inside lane, trying to make something happen. The 25 of David Moody. Brad Bothwell. It's James Wallace right on his back bumper. just like that, it's pretty much settled itself out. Trying to again get themselves sorted out, get themselves situated, find which line works for them, and as already we can see here, the main preferred line is right there on that inside seam. Let's see if we can wait for some of these drivers to run that line there back down in this side of the speedway, right there with the left side tires around that seam. That very inside lane, not always the best option. Drivers with varying entries as well, as John Caldwell made his way up past Joey Stats for the lead. So many varying options of entry. We'll run on board Jonathan Berger here. You can hear how much he really is just messing with the throttle, trying to keep that car under control as Joey Stats and Joshua Susi almost come together off turn number 2. A few sparks from the 3 of Stats after just barely scraping the wall. Susi able to clear, not quite. He's going to leave that outside lane open. And here at Homestead, it's usually the best option, just to leave that outside lane open down the straightaway. And leaving the inside lane open is Joey Stats. We saw just how close those two got. As the caution is out once again, the multi-car crash here in the back. Many cars around. Jeremiah Stutzman involved. The 05 also involved. That is Daniel Reese. Matthew Hibbs in the 24 may have taken a tow from that. Anthony Thitchener's car absolutely destroyed. What exactly happened here? It's Matthew Hibbs who got loose. Oh man. Huge crash on the front straightaway. Is that a hardware failure for Matthew Hibbs? Right on board here on that straightaway. Matthew Hibbs just took the car behind the wall. By the sound of his engine, it might be a hardware failure there. Unfortunately for Matthew Hibbs. Take a look to see exactly what happened with Anthony Thitchener here. Coming down the front straightaway, just nowhere to go. Hibbs gets loose, contact is made, and that just sends Thitchener right towards the inside wall. And he was almost able to collect it right up until both the 71 and the 60 made contact on the straightaway. And then it was just on from there. Huge contact. I'll take one more replay as well here. I'm on board the 60 of Chris McCullough. Unfortunately, really just nowhere to go throughout all of that. Pit stops have taken place with 119 laps to go. It's going to be Matthew Smethers in the lead, who did not pit. One of the drivers that actually pitted during the first caution, about 3 to 5 laps in, just about. Same with Mark Figueroa, pitted 3 to 5 laps in, as well as Jacob Greider and Ryan Hedrick. They're going to be the top 4 drivers. I tried to get the jump by 5 laps. And, well, in a way, it worked. That correction is also Joshua Johnson in the top 5, as well as we're still under pacing conditions right now. Jordan Mackey and Matthew Hibbs, both drivers that are out 32nd and 31st, respectively. 2 cautions very early on in this event, unfortunately. Take a look throughout your field and we'll see, well, John Caldwell scheduled to restart 6th place out on the outside lane. Joshua Seuss is going to be right on the inside as well with that restart. Well, the first 2 drivers that got off pit road, Brad Bothwell as well, restarting in what is essentially going to be the net 3rd place position, depending on if these, if all the drivers to that pit from basically 6th place all the way to 30th, if all those drivers can get by the top 5 that stayed out. And there is the 60 of Chris McCullough, unfortunately. Pretty much absolutely just destroyed. Might be able to get it back going later on if he does sit out and wait the repair times. He is in the car, as you see the helmet over there on the right-hand side. Also, we see the number 5 machine going into pit road. That's Michael Leiby. It's for a quick gas and go, essentially. Wrong transition. Apologies for that. Also, go back now to your lead group. Bringing the field to the green flag. Your top 5 have all stayed out. Matthew Smethers in the 33, the 00 of Mark Figueroa. Ryan Hedrick in the 23 machine. Jacob Grider in the 49, the 57 of Joshua Johnson. John Caldwell in the 48, the first driver that has pit and has exited pit road, essentially, on these last pit stops. Question is, will they be able to get everything going? Can they all sort themselves out? We're going to be needing this camera angle, I'm sure, for quite a while. And we'll see what is going to be in store here for the 33 of Matthew Smethers and the 00. And essentially the rest of your top 5 as the green flag is out. Great getaway by everybody. Smethers leads the field down into turn number 1. Now we just sit back and wait as both Susie and Cottle. Well, Cottle's going to send it up the middle 3 wide. He's going to try and slice his way through near contact with the 81 and 57. They still manage to stay off each other. 81 of Susie getting the worst of that. He's getting held up as just about. As a 7 of Jonathan Boger is very quickly dropping back here throughout the middle of the field. Able to keep control of it, but just like that, within 1 lap, 48 Cottle's already up 3 positions. Susie following right through on that inside lane. 00 Figueroa not having the best restart because he did restart up on the outside lane. Outside lane with fresh tires, or with older tires, correction. Not of course, the best strategy as the 00 and 57 continue to race it out between themselves. Smethers and Grider, first and second. The drivers that did not pit on the most recent caution, they pit about 3 to 5 laps in once again. Actually pulling quite a gap here. 00 Figueroa and the 3 of Joey Stats making their way through turns 3 and 4. Stats just flying by on that inside lane. Here comes the 96 of Brad Bothwell. Just up ahead is Susie and Cottle side by side. And they could be making it 3 wide here for the second place position. And they decide exactly to do so as Cottle and the 49 of Grider into the outside wall. They made contact. And that's going to send Grider all the way to the back. I don't think he can get off the wall. He's trying to. Nearly makes contact. Able to get off the outside wall. That's going to slow him way down. And that sent him already back to 21st from about 3rd. Oh, crash in the back as well. Figueroa around in the 00 onto the apron. Huge hit to the inside wall. No caution just yet because it's on the apron. And now the caution comes out because that wreck has spilled its way out onto the actual racetrack. The 55 of Matthew McCann involved. So did the double 0 and 28 make contact? It looks to be so. We'll take a look from the top down from the blimp. And, oh no, wait, maybe the double 0 may have gotten loose there. Tries to come back up, makes contact. Oh, the 7 as well. Jonathan Boger involved. And look at the 9. Nope, makes contact. Nearly almost got by, but then made contact. And then we go, we zoom out here. And then they make even more contact there up on the rest of the racetrack. That was Andrew Hibbs. Let's ride on board the 55 machine here. Nearly makes contact, possibly gets turned, and just heavy contact. Nowhere to go for the 53. On board Matthew McCann, who has some internet connection issues as well. And oh man, if he slowed down a bit more, he probably would have avoided a lot of contact. Unfortunately, with that internet connection issue that he had at that time, well, that just threw him completely off guard. Majority of the field in pit road at the moment, coming out pit road right now. Just about, well, a staggered amount of cars, really. Pretty much about 12th place on back. I was about to say 13th. That was actually 12th place. On the main 33 of Matthew Smethers, who may have sped on pit road if he's letting the 93 by. Oh, did Smethers speed on pit road? He may have if he's slowing down on the inside. Let's see what happens here with James Wallace. No speeding, so might be planning to go back to pit road, actually. Might have had to let the 93 car go by. Andrew Hibbs pulling out pit road, so as these drivers sort themselves back up, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Back alive here, less than pretty much a corner to green flag. And it's controlled by Joshua Susi in the 81 machine as we are back racing here at Homestead, Miami. And a great lead off by the 81 of Joshua Susi. Joey Stats trying to follow in suit, but John Cottle fights back on the inside lane. Just like that, down the back straightaway. A bit of contact. I believe that was the 7 machine. Not entirely sure as of yet, but once the 7 machine, unfortunately, going back wide. For some reason, just taking the safe route, dropping back, making sure everyone else has the preferred lanes. In the meantime, though, for the 3rd place position, it's Joey Stats trying to at least hold off Stephen Massey, but really to almost no avail. We'll see here from the onboard. As contact was made, at least on the outside wall, Massey gets very, very close to that left rear quarter panel of Joey Stats. Has managed to keep everything under control here. Joey Stats had hit the outside wall a couple times, or at least grazed the outside wall a couple times. But throughout all of that, he's still able to keep it under control. So John Cottle leads once again here at Homestead. Second time he's gotten back into the lead. Joshua Susi settles in 2nd place. Stats and Massey going to be fighting it out for that 3rd place position at the moment. And that blinding sunlight off of turn number 4. Not only that, but it's also in a way, because of the fence posts, almost acts as a strobe light essentially, and that just bothers you to no avail throughout the entire event. So not only does Daytona have that issue, but also same goes for Homestead. It's a common staple apparently with tracks facing the sunset direction off of turn 4. Currently looking at about 8th place, now going to be 9th place of the 57 of Joshua Johnson and Josh Myers in the 02. Jeremy Freer trying to get his way back up. Jonathan Boger, correction. 1 lap down, first driver 1 lap down as well. I see just how well that right side is handling, or is being, that's pretty much been used up already, unfortunately. Both the left side as well, just that car. Not exactly torn to shreds, it's been beaten around a little bit, but he is still able to run about the top 10 positions here. The question is, why would he be pushing it just a bit too much to try and get by when it's really not going to be for anything, at least as of at the moment. Gary Bauer, 2 laps down, sits all the way back on the entry to turns 1 and 2. Boger just trying to set his pace, make sure that everything is something that he's aware of at least. Trying to feel out what the car can and cannot do. Just up ahead, James Wallace and Jay Anderson battling side by side, as well as Kurt Quist and Stephen Massey battling side by side. This is for position number 5. It's actually Kurt Quist and Brad Bothwell, correction. Number 96 on the outside lane. Both drivers even at speed down the back straightaway. Kurt Quist just able to get around. Or can he stay in front of Bothwell for this top 5 position? Looking to be a no at the moment, and yet Bothwell backs off. I'll give it another try a bit later on, just in the background that you see there. As Jay Anderson getting passed by Jonathan Boger, not for position. But this is about the relative speed that we could be seeing Boger at if he gets back on the lead lap. I say if because, well, you never really know if you could have a green flag run or if you get anything to void that free pass. Doing well so far. So if we do see Boger back on the lead lap, he could be potentially a top 10 car. Smeether's got around Jay Anderson as well. Anderson falling back, unfortunately. His last lap time was a 32.725. He's very off the pace compared to the rest of the top 10, which is saying about 32.2 in some cases. Smeether's will be at 10 laps, 10 lap fresher tires as well, getting that advantage. Be closing the gap between himself and the top 5 momentarily. It's Wallace and Bothwell go side by side momentarily. Wallace gets by on the inside. In the back portion of the field, got Mankowski battling Kenny McCauley Jr. for 15th. Trying to utilize the outside lane, but unfortunately, yeah, running that about half a lane higher, lane and a half just about. Did not help his speed through at least turns 3 and 4. Now Jacob Grider going to be all over the back bumper here. Trying to figure out what he can do to close the gap. Even with a bit of right front damage from earlier contact. Able to get a run. And with that, John Mankowski trying to get the extra speed into the top line entry of turns 3 and 4. It's not going to work, and we see here from a very good angle, that front bumper definitely bent on both sides. Unfortunately, not enough to help him out. I should specify that by not enough to help him out, I should have specified more that, well, front bumper is unfortunately not less damaged enough to help him out with that front end speed. So hopefully he will be able to repair whatever he can. Try and get whatever speed out of that. If he does idle at least 2,000, then he is fine. That's the key trick here in these Cup cars, is that if your car idles at 2,000 RPM, well, you don't have engine damage, you just have aero damage. It's a nice little trick that could prove useful in a lot of cases. Something that isn't useful is John Call's internet deciding to go out just for a split second. Everything is okay. Which, of course, does remind me about the fact that, well, going off of what happened last week, this past week, more specifically. Nope, last week, at the eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series event with the Comcast service deciding to go down. Well, being on Comcast, I should say, don't expect things to go smoothly. We'll see how things go. So far, so good, of course. Again, that will be out of just absolutely out of our control if that does happen. So, just a little bit of a advance warning in case it does drop on this end. Of course, we will be looking to get that back as soon as possible. That's all up to however Comcast decides to handle things. And as Matthew Smeether's around in turns 1 and 2, not even around, just now parked up on the top banking. Nice. Did not display that. There we go. You have a hardware failure by chance. That could be actually his screen going black. We'll replay this one more time here, starting from the back straightaway. And let's see if we can get an in-car camera here. There we go. That's not a hardware failure. His car was snapped in a certain direction That is a screen failure. Man, that's heartbreaking for Smethers. Just out of absolutely nowhere, a screen failure. So we'll see if he does come back. He did leave and put his car behind the wall, at least at the moment. So we'll see if Smethers decides to come back. If he can get everything working here. So if we can get a shot of pit lane. For some reason we are not able to, at least not directly. There we go. 96 of Brad Bothwell taking 4 tires. It's a very close race off pit road between Cottle and Johnson, I believe. Which could be Cottle and Susie. Let's see if we can get a shot of the first driver that was off pit road here. Looks to be John Cottle that beat Joshua Susie off pit road first. Going to go into a quick commercial break here momentarily, and then we'll be right back one more time with your restart here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We are back here at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway for the Elite Championship Racing GTR Sim Series. And we are 1 lap to green at 87 laps to go. It will be green flag conditions once again, with James Wallace leading the field. But Ryan Hedrick, something to keep an eye on here, 42 laps and 43 laps at the start-finish line since he last went to pit road. He pit right on that initial caution as well. He has not went to pit road since. Not sure if that's entirely the best idea, but James Wallace, 23 laps since he last pit, at least at the moment. Ryan Hedrick, 42 laps since he last pit. And Jacob Grider, 22 laps since he last pit. So basically the entire field, except for the top 3, have gone to pit road. Expect them to drop very far back here once this run does go on. Pace car gets ready to pull off into pit road once again here. Closing in on the halfway point of this event. As the green flag flies, Ryan Hedrick does not entirely get going. That's going to be something to watch from a very, very high up camera. 81 Susie makes contact with the apron. He's going to slide himself back quite literally. Slides up in front of the 97, 4 wide down the back straightaway. It's the 48 and 81 nearly make contact. Remember, guys, you have lanes of space available. Here comes Joey Stats slicing his way through, taking advantage of this as the 97 falls back. So does the 23 of Hedrick. And it's all coming to undone here for some of these drivers, as the caution has actually come out in the back. Jay Anderson in the 18 car round on the exit of turn number 4, just about. The back end completely gone from that car. I'm going to see if we can actually get a replay here, if at all possible. Unfortunately, we're having some issues trying to get said replay, so I'll try one more time here and look at it from the blimp camera. So taking a look at the 18 of Jay Anderson, that red and gold, both the 57 and the 18 slide, but the 18 of Anderson just lost contact, and the 30 nowhere to go, unfortunately. Oh man, just heavy contact. Nowhere for Trey Davis to go, and just squeaking by is a 00, just about. Oh, the 42 and the 27 make contact. That's going to be more contact for Trey Davis as well. So see if we can get one more replay here on board the number 30 machine. Oh, really lucky there with the netcode contact, but just unable to get off the wall for a bit was Trey Davis. So back under caution once again here at Homestead. Halfway point of this race looking to be, if I remember, about lap 67 and a half. But it doesn't hurt to double check. Correction, lap 67 in total. So the completion of lap 67 will be a halfway caution thrown by race control for the stage completion. And then we go into our second half. Unfortunately, though, these drivers having a bit of a struggle here with this track, especially grip-wise, and which lanes they're running by the looks of it. A bit close on spacing in some cases, but everyone does manage to control their cars for the most part. It's just a matter of when to push the car, when not to push the car, and sometimes it's just a matter of cold tires or the lane just not working out at the time. Unfortunately, that led us to 5 cautions in the first half of this event so far. Pace car expected to have the 1 to green signal this time by as the sun continues to set here. So as we await, instead of going to commercial or even double wide, we'll sit here and just listen to the sounds and just watch from the back view of the pace car here. And it's actually quite calming if you think about it, as we have the 1 to green signal. So far, again, 5 cautions in. Unfortunately, the track surface changing as the sun sets. Keep in mind, twice as fast as well, due to the 2 times time acceleration here that the league uses. That 2 times acceleration could be playing a slight factor as well into the track temperatures. We'll see how things fare in this less than 20 lap dash to the halfway point. James Wallace in the 51 in control of the field. 29 laps since his last pit stop, and 28 laps since Jacob Grider's last pit stop in the 49, as we're back at green flag racing. And already they are 3 wide very quickly early on. Susie's sending it up the inside. Let's hope they make it out okay. This Grider will get very, very quickly shuffled back here throughout this restart. Same goes for James Wallace in the 51. Joey Stats has pretty much separated himself all the way from the entire field now. Joshua Susi trying to separate himself from either Stephen Massey or John Caudill, depending on whoever gets to this third place position. Looking to the inside is the 48 of Caudill, gets loose, catches it, slides up the track, and just like that, it's like it didn't even happen. Kurt Quist lurking at the end of the top 5. Having a quiet day. And we did see him battling for the top 5 earlier on. He's doing an absolutely wonderful job just keeping the car under control. As we have a battle mid-pack. Well, more of a scramble mid-pack. As 49 Grider continues to drop positions. Same with James Wallace here. Considering that both drivers on are on 20-lap older tires compared to the rest of the field. Trying to save at least until the halfway point is what my assumption would be. You do remember Ryan Hedrick well, if we look for him in our timing screen at least. He's all the way back in 19th. 5 laps since his last pit stop, so pretty much the most recent caution that we just had. Trying to do his best to charge his way up through the field. It's about for that top 10 position. I wouldn't say rages on, but really just lurks in the mirror, and that's going to be a battle for 11th as John Mankowski looks to the inside of James Wallace. Lap older tires is John Mankowski. Here comes David Moody up on the outside lane. He's going to try and split the middle 3 wide. All drivers giving available space. Great spatial awareness by everybody there. Great job by Mankowski to just stay around the inside lane and take the loss now instead of pushing it for later. Jim Westerfield in the 35 sneaking his way by into 11th. And for the lead, it's going to be Joshua Susi and Joey Stats. We just caught the end of it. That smoke wasn't from contact. That was just from possible, at least, connection issues. This driver comes out of pit road. That is Jay Anderson in the 18. Speaking of drivers coming out of pit road, well, Matthew Smethers is back on track. 7 laps down, but still the first driver available to get at least a wave around. So in about 7 to 8 laps or so time, be able to at least get one of those laps back. Kurt Quist getting by John Caudill for 4th place. I don't believe that battle would be over just yet, but that distance entering turns 1 and 2 says otherwise. That battle is very much over. Trying in car with Kurt Quist. Saying how much wheel you really have to put through. We're closing in on the halfway point of this race. And we'll see if anyone can get into the top 10 here. David Moody lurking on the outside of it. Jim Westerfield in front of him. Jeremy Freer, however, in the 13. He's going to have other plans. He's not waiting too much longer. Just like that, saying about a car length already of a gap in between himself and Moody is Jeremy Freer. That 13 machine very quickly pulling away on that inside lane. Has that setup suited just right. Jacob Grider still falling back, unfortunately. Same goes for... I would say but they might have went to pit road, actually. In the meantime, the entire top 10 very much spread out. The closest battle in that top 10 is between John Caldwell and Kurt Quist. At least it was for about 2 seconds. Correction, Brad Bothwell and John Caldwell. Let's take a look at the lap times between these two as they cross the start-finish line, and they're equal. They were about 2/10 of a second faster. Brad Bothwell is 2/10 of a second faster the last lap. This time by, he's just about the same amount, the same lap time. Joey Stats and Stephen Massey going to be battling here in these final 2 laps of the first half of this event. Will Massey be waiting around too much longer? No, he will not. Right down to the inside lane. He'll try and make it stick. He does very successfully. Down the back straightaway they go. Still side by side. Joey Stats getting the advantage ever so slightly. I love this infield camera, because you can see really just who has the advantage on who doesn't on the inside lane. 2 laps to go until halfway. That's going to get the caution for the stage completion. And this is pretty much the only battle that we have around the top 10, or in the top 10 even. Matthew McCann getting shuffled back 3 wide for a moment. Battling with Michael Leiby and Jacob Grider. McCann nearly into the outside wall, able to hang on to it. Back up to that 3rd place position. It might be all said and done, so we are 1 lap away from the halfway portion. So Joshua Susi sneaking his way up through the field, especially throughout the all the cautions that we had throughout pit stops. So we see he did start 3rd, so on paper, a very quiet day, but in reality, well, this is something that should have been expected here by the halfway point. Stage winner is Joshua Susi. 67 laps to go, the 6th caution of the day. The only one thrown by Race Control that was meant to be thrown, more specifically. Now we get to see who is going to be sorted out where when it comes to pit stops. All these drivers just about 20 plus laps on their runs. Any lap cars that are still here, we expect to stay out. The entire field takes the access road, and Susi will be coming into pit road right off turn number 4. Now for here, you don't have to take the pit access road, more specifically. And Susi, yep, there he goes. He does come into pit road. The surprise of, well, pretty much nobody, especially off turn number 4. What strategy does everyone have in mind here? So you see the first driver into his box, nice and smooth. Same with the 96. Right sides go up. You're most likely expecting a 4-tire pit stop. And for Susie, that is the case. And Susie will be first off pit road. So you see everybody making their way up pit road. A couple drag races as well in the process. And unfortunately, if you are the number 9 of Andrew Hibbs, you're just wondering what happened with this race. We take a look. Yep, there it is. A lot of damage throughout pretty much the entirety of the car. Started second, as you can see from his placement of the pit stall, and well, unfortunately, pretty much has not gone too well ever since. A7 of Anthony Fitchener had some heavy contact as well within the first half of the event. Missing as his front bumper as a result of that, and the back bumper too, I believe. I'll have to take a look here to see if that is the case, but absolutely just almost got thrown around essentially. 46 laps down, he's still running. Does he have a back bumper still, is the question. The answer is no. That is a definite no. But still running, even though he's 46 laps down. Going to get a couple more positions at this point. As Gary Bauer and Trey Davis are out of this race. 28th and 27th in front of Fitchener. Drivers that are out actually as well. We'll go through that entire list. Trey Davis in 27th. Gary Bauer in 28th. 30th, Daniel Reese. 31st, Matthew Hibbs. And 32nd, Jordan Mackey. It's going to be 62 laps to green, or at least 62 to go when we do take the green flag. The pace car lights will go out this time around. There they go. So Joshua Susie will be in control of the field as the lap cars make their way around from staying out to get an extra lap back. Stephen Massey restarting in second place. John Caldwell restarts third. Joey Stats restarts in fourth. Fifth place is Brad Bothwell. Kurt Quist, Jonathan Boger, Joshua Johnson, Josh Mayhew, and Jim Westerfield restart throughout your top 10. Currently riding on board the back of the pace car going into the second half of the event. Will we have the same amount of cautions, or at least a similar amount of cautions in the second half as we did the first? Or will the sunset and cooler track temperatures help out, help these drivers really, and help out their tires in the process? That is going to be a question that is going to be answered here momentarily. Because the sun will be set by the time this race is over. But what cost, if there is any, as the pace car pulls into pit road? And the green flag flies once again here at Homestead. And it's a great start by Joshua Susie. That's a spin. That's the 95 of Kurt Quist, who is around, nearly comes up. Huge contact, and again, as the 03 gets thrown into the air, the 33 as well. And if that's going to be the trend of this race, I think that answers our question. As the caution comes out once again here for the 7th time today, we're going to be seeing if we can try and get a replay here. At the moment, apparently not, for some strange reason. Looks like we will be able to get a replay here momentarily. So what happened with Kurt Quist? Do you have any contact? Nope, it's just the line, then the fresh tires, and then it was just on all the way from here. So from here, I'm going to switch to the blimp view, and we'll continue on in slow motion to see what exactly happened here. Quist slides up the racetrack, nearly makes contact. The 03 and the 23 make contact. We can already see what happened there, but we'll take another look at it. Oh, the 03 got stuck in the wall, unfortunately. They split 4 wide for a second. The 33 of Matthew Smethers, just more bad luck again. And I think the 33 gets hit a second time. Let's see if we can get a replay here on board the 03 of Kenny McCullough. Oh, man. Let's see if we can get another look at this once again. This time on board the 23. Nah, that was just in this. Ooh, wow. It's got snapped around. There's a 71 spinning for a second as well. Let's see what happened with Matthew Smethers as well here in a second. This is on board Jeremiah Stutzman, who gets tagged from behind, just able to keep it off. Let's see what happened here with Smethers in the 33. If we are able to, unfortunately, we went back a bit too far, so we'll try the old-fashioned fast-forwarding here for a quick second. Right about here. Oh, man, just nowhere to go. And he didn't, I don't believe he attempted to slow. Oh, man, got pretty much bulldozed again. We're gonna watch this one more time here, coming down the back straightaway. Let's listen on board here. And still trying to keep speed. I don't know about that one, to be quite honest. He did initially slow down, but then still try to keep at least the initial pace. But really, there's nothing to keep pace with, considering the caution is out. So, unfortunately for Smethers, not exactly the best decision. In the meantime, though, 56 laps to go when we go back green flag racing. Hopefully the caution is breed caution trend doesn't exactly repeat itself here in the second half of this event. Unfortunately, well, considering it's cautions breed cautions, that's looking to be so. We'll try this restart once again for the second half of this event. Joshua Stussy, Joey Stats, John Caldwell, Stephen Massey, Brad Bothwell, your top 5. Lights just about appearing here around the Homestead Miami Speedway. The green flag is being shown once again here. I'll see where everybody sorts themselves out here. Few drivers in the back having a bit of an adventure almost in some cases, but they're able to hang on to it. Joey Stats and Stephen Massey still riding side by side. Stats the odd one out, running the outside lane, still drifting up. Kind of worried that he would hit the outside wall there off of turn number 2, but luckily he does not. So 95 of Kurt Quist diving down to the inside. Has to get by the 7 machine as Stephen Massey and Joey Stats still continue to run side by side here very consistently. But they brought this battle back on from what we saw just before the caution came out. Just like that, Massey able to clear Stats, but for how long is the question. That is, if Joey Stats can get that momentum back from when he did in the first half of the race, lead the race for the second time today as, well, mid-pack, not mid-pack, more at the end of the top 10. David Moody, Jacob Greider side by side. James Wall is going to be sneaking his way by on, at least it would have been the outside. Gets cut off just a little bit. 28 moves to defend. Slides up the track. This is going to be great for James Wallace here. Great inside run off of this corner. Trying to stay the throttle in just a bit longer. I see these drivers get side by side here at this track. They definitely just stick side by side until we see really which of the better lanes prevails. And just from what we saw right here for that pass for 10th place, is the inside lane that has prevailed. Kurt, is that not Kurt? That was Kurt Quist, actually. Unfortunately, he is stuck 2 laps down. Matthew McCann, the first driver, 1 lap down. But Kurt Quist able to still retain that momentum, even after getting sideswiped a couple times. He does hang on to it. Still able to keep going as well as the entire front portion of your field, all single file here. So for the first time in this race, going to be going double wide, and you won't miss a single thing. Race will be on the left side. Commercials on the right-hand side, and the league sponsors up on the top of the screen. And again, you won't miss a single thing here. Just under 50 laps to go here at Homestead. Back live here, looking for Chris McCullough, who, if you were paying attention during the side-by-side, had suddenly gotten an engine issue, so I'm not sure if it was a misshift. This may have been the lap before his engine had decided to expire all of a sudden, and it was. So it looks like it did originate off of turn number 4, so right now we're just riding along in a replay to see what exactly happened with Chris McCullough here. His engine just decided to go out. Let's see if we can actually somehow catch a glimpse of, or rewind this one more time as well. Another time, there we go. Let's see if we can catch a glimpse here of his, no we cannot actually catch a glimpse of, I believe we can, up there we go, of his RPMs. 8100 into the corner. And there it goes. Just way too much damage incurred. And that's compared to, this is in replay once again as well, to Joshua Susi's, once his RPM entering the corner. Significantly higher, yeah. So, unfortunately for Chris McCullough, he was just way down by about 700 RPM. He might be down one position as well here momentarily if Stephen Massey does get by him. Closing in on the final 40 laps of this event. Correction, just under 40 laps. Stephen Massey attempting to close the gap, as these front two have just completely broken away the entire rest of the field. You see their lap times last time by pretty much equal times. I think Stephen Massey is just lurking right on that back bumper with the slipstream as well. Does he get any faster here by the exit of turn number 4? That looks to be a solid no. Not this time. And there's the difference by about a half of, actually 500ths of a second, 600ths actually, is the difference between those two. In the meantime, Jim Westerfield and Josh Mayhew have a bit of a brewing battle essentially for the 6th place position here. Westerfield in 35, Mayhew in the 02 car. Closest battle in the top 10, save for the lead. Does Stephen Massey go for it? Not that time. See, every time Stephen Massey just gets right up against the back bumper, it just immediately stops. It's the momentum in terms of his momentum. Joshua Susi just sitting here defending, running his line. But nothing else that Susi can do at the moment, aside from just continue running what he's been running. And right when I say that, well, Massey gets very close to the back bumper. Tries to peek to the inside lane, not going to work there. Massey just lurking in the background. It's Jeremy Freer and Jonathan Boger battle for 11th place. They go side by side. Boger having a rough day, able to get back on the lead lap. We saw him earlier running about top 10. And the thing is, with about 30 laps to go and a very close nose to the back bumper, we still have about, these drivers are going to be after running for about 60 more laps. And in terms of fuel, I don't know if that could happen. Tires, probably. Stephen Massey wants to be out front before the inevitable green flag pit stop here if we do get to that point. And every time he peeks out to the inside, though, his momentum, unfortunately, just does not fully carry. Still just lurking in the background. This is all Stephen Massey can do, really, though, is just sit behind Joshua Susi, try and make a pass whenever possible, but with 30 laps to go, I'd settle back, wait a bit. I guess we could be having, again, green flag pit stops throughout this event. Even if these drivers don't pit for tires, they would still have to pit for fuel. Susi may have found something to just about help. I think Massey actually got loose on the entry to that corner too. But he is very visibly falling back, so we'll go back to position number 5 now, where there is a brewing battle between Jim Westerfield in the 35 and Joshua Johnson in the 57 machine. This could bring Josh Mayu into this battle as well. In fact, Josh Mayu could just be battling Joshua Johnson all on his own. Sliding way up the track is the 57. Here comes with the inside lane, or the inside run, Josh Mayu. Again for position number 6 on the track. Move the O2 up into 6th place, maybe. With him having to stay on the inside lane, though, it's not going to work out just yet. Jeremy Rubin dropping back on the outside lane. Joshua Johnson able to fight back on the outside entry to turn number 1. A few side-by-side battles here and there throughout this. Mayu once again tries the inside lane. And with that let off from Joshua Johnson to stay off the outside wall, that will not fully solidify Mayu. Now it will down the back straightaway. Crossover from the 57, but it's not going to be enough on the entry to turn 3. Joshua Susi and Stephen Massey have extended the gap between themselves. That is the 48 machine of John Caldwell unlapping himself on 10-lap fresher tires. Correction, 30-lap fresher tires in comparison to Joshua Susi. So the sun has fully set. Now we're asking ourselves the question, how long can these guys run before they absolutely have to pit? And then began that question answered momentarily, I'm sure, in the next about 4 or so laps. Honestly, drivers can run an extra 20 laps at this point. All we have to do right now is just wait and see what happens. Yeah, Steven Massey actually able to close the gap. But not for too much longer as he falls back just a bit off of turn number 4. Just trying to hang on to it, trying to get to the end. At this point, it's the question of who will blink first when it comes to going into pit road. At this point, this is the, again, closest battle on the track. And correction, for about 17th place, it's actually the closest battle on track now. Just about. David Moody falling back with John Caldwell passing by. I believe this is all just in front of the leaders. Yep, there they are in the background. At least of the previous shot. Steven Massey just not leaving that back bumper with 20 laps to go. Correction, 19 laps to go. Read that wrong for a split second. At this point, with them being about 3 seconds ahead of the entire field, well, this is pretty much what we can expect up until pit stops occur. If we even do get those, if these drivers can even stretch it out to about 60 laps, almost 70 laps. I doubt it. They might just be running it out till the very end. You never know what's going to happen, though, in these final few laps. Just lurking behind the back bumper still as we continue to watch this battle go on. Doesn't seem like much, but every single lap, Steven Massey is going to be trying to get by, and this is going to be the lap to do so. Almost just about using that lap car as a pick. That is the 28, I believe, of David Moody. It is. Massey just can't quite get by. Can he do it off of turn number 4? Can he get the advantage before pit stops if we do need those? Drag race to the start-finish line, gets by, maybe a bit too soon, and that is the truth. Just about nearly puts the bumper to Steven Massey is Joshua Susi. And that, for all we know, could be the move of the race that was needed. It's not 2 weeks in a row. There could be a second win for Steven Massey. The question is, how much longer does this go on for? And with that, Susi could only hold off Steven Massey for so long. might be just about getting to fuel-saving territory. We'll see how things go. And everyone on track. As Pierre trained about 45 plus laps. The leaders ranging from about 50 to 52 laps. Stephen Mass is going to be the first driver to go to pit road of the lead group. Looks like it. It looked like it, but he decided against it. Decides to stay out. I'm not going to say what I want to say, so I'll save that for later to avoid commentator's curse. And if it does happen, I'll probably end up saying it anyway, so we'll see how things go, at least in the final about 12 laps here momentarily. While we do have a chance, let's ride on board Stephen Massey and just listen along for a few laps to see how he's taking to this track. Maybe not, considering that someone might have an engine issue, unless that may have been the 48 actually. But now we'll ride on board with Stephen Massey for a couple laps. Riding along, we also see the difference between Massey and Susie's time the last time by. 9 laps to go, 8 at the start-finish line. Still counting down. We're closing in now on the final few laps of this event. And that lead gap just continues to grow larger and larger again. Quite literally disappearing for a second. There it is, the second half. Producing a significantly calmer race than the first half of this event. 32 cars, started this event. 23 now remain in some capacity. At least 22 remain actively running. Anthony Fitchener still sitting on pit road, trying to get some amount of repairs done. About 10 laps to go, just by the looks of this. Correction, 5 laps to go. Stephen Massey continues to just absolutely run away with this lead here. Almost 5 seconds separates him and Joshua Susi. And this week it could be a much easier win compared to having to go through Daytona the first time. As far as I know, it could be confusing that with, I have to double check that just to be sure. Indeed, it was correct. It was Stephen Massey that did win the first race of the season. It's by about a half car length as well. In this case, at least 0.057 seconds. It may not be a drag race to the line, but all in all, it's still a very fantastic effort put on by Stephen Massey. He just has to hope that in these final 3 laps, the dreaded yellow does not come out. Once he crosses the start-finish line for the white flag, he can just about relax in a way. But even then, he still has to get through these final 2 laps to be sure that he'll have this win at least a bit secured. We did have questions, of course, about who could be where when it came to fuel. It looks like everybody would be able to make it to the end. If the leader on his 63rd lap since pitting is able to make it, well, everybody else on their, say, from even as little as their 33rd lap from pitting all the way to their 64th lap should be able to make it in. So the 97 of Stephen Massey will wait to get by the 42, gives a lot of space, and comes to the white flag presented by Drivenclad. And it's an easy turns 1 and 2 for Stephen Massey. 2 weeks ago, he won at Daytona, and he'll be the first repeat winner of this season. Already 3 races in and coming to the start-finish line. It is the 97 of Stephen Massey, a 2-time winner this season at Homestead, Miami. Joshua Susi will round off the second-place position. Joey Stats, another podium position, as Brad Bothwell and Jim Westerfield will drag race to the start-finish line for 4th and 5th. Josh Mayhew finishes in 6th. 7th place will be Jacob Grider, James Wallace 8th, Jonathan Boger 9th, and 10th place, Jeremy Freer. An absolutely fantastic job done by Stephen Massey to get to the end of this event. And get by Joshua Susi as well, who revs at him in congratulations. Stephen Massey in the 97, your race winner here for this week. We'll take a look at your finishing results as he does his burnouts. We already went through the top 10, but we'll go one more time. Stephen Massey, Joshua Susi, and Joey Stats, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We'll talk to them momentarily. Brad Bothwell, Jim Westerfield, 4th and 5th. Josh Mayhew, 6th. 7th place, Jacob Grider. 8th place, James Wallace. And 9th place is Jonathan Boger with Jeremy Freer rounding out the top 10. 11th is Joshua Johnson, and 12th is Josh Cottle. And because of the long green flag run we have in the second half, a lot of drivers went a lap or more down. Jeremy Rubin, John Mankowski, Michael Leiby, 13th through 15th. To Brian Hendricks, 16th. 17th place being Andrew Hibbs. 18th place, Jeremiah Stutzman. 19th place being David Moody. 20th place being rounded out by Kurt Quist. And the drivers that were not able to fully make it to the end: Matthew McCann, Mark Figueroa, 21st and 22nd. 23rd is Chris McCullough. 24th, Jay Anderson. 25th is Kenny McCullough Jr. Matthew Smethers rounds out 26th. 27th is Anthony Fitchener. 28th, Trey Davis. 29th, Gary Bauer. And 30th is Daniel Reese. And then your final two drivers, Matthew Hips and Jordan Mackey, being 31st and 32nd in these results. So, with that being said, we will be back momentarily here for your post race interview with the top three. This is the Elite Championship Racing League's GTR Sim Series, and we'll be back with your top three interviews. And we are back here at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. Going to be commencing with your post-race interviews here for the Elite Championship Racing GTR Sim Series here, which had just wrapped up a significantly calmer second half. And someone who didn't have almost as much of a calm second half, at least at some points, is Joey Stats. And Joey, well, he hit the wall probably a couple times. We did catch one time at least with a few laps to go here on this portion of the broadcast, at least for your interview, as we have that rolling in the background. But aside from that, you had a very, on paper, I should say, a quiet race. But all in all, you started sixth, finished in third, led a few laps. Walk us through it.
Yeah, it was a pretty eventful race, to be honest. With some of the moves I had to make there, whenever some guys stayed out three wide and everything, it was definitely wasn't calm. But yeah, led some laps, finished third, got some stage points. Can't ask for much more. Well, besides the win, obviously.
On the bright side, you did manage to finish in the top three 2 weeks in a row, so a very, very dominant last couple of weeks. And going into the next race, what are your thoughts, especially after having two podium positions in a row so far?
Yeah, hopefully we can keep the trend continued. Definitely going to try to just take it easy, save tires like normal. Hopefully get the setup tuned up this week and be able to do that.
Hopefully that will be the case, and hopefully everything will go well in the process of your next few races. Before I go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your third place finish?
Yeah, my teammates, of course. I always got to shout them out. Matthew Hibbs, Andrew Hibbs, John Caudle. They put a lot of work into the setups with me, and we get them where they need to be. And our sponsors, GTR simulators and pay to win setups, and all the other ones that help us put on the show, means a lot. And then you for broadcasting. I think this is your last one you're broadcasting for us, isn't it?
That is correct.
I appreciate the three that you did broadcast for us, and maybe later on you'll be able to do some more for us. Appreciate it.
Hopefully so. Thanks for your time. So that is the three of Joey's stats, and now we'll be moving on into well, over to, I should say, now the 81 machine of Joshua Susi, who comes home in the second place position. And Joshua Susi was fending off Stephen Massey throughout that second half of the race, but in the end, came home almost 7 seconds behind, but still putting up a very fantastic defense.
Yeah, man. We joked last week about finishing second, and I'm not liking this theme.
It's what is it becoming the I don't know if I heard this somewhere else, but I believe the running joke is pretty much becoming the Mark Martin of the league, I believe.
So far, yeah, it feels like that. It really does.
Aside from that, though, you did put on a very incredible performance, regardless. So walk us through pretty much the entire race because you did manage to start third and still finished in at least in second.
Well, I knew for the most part it was going to be about track position because this package is uh, not very good, I should put. Even with the open sets and the adjustments you can make, it's just the aero plays such a big role. You needed to be out front. I knew I was faster than Caudle in the long run, but sitting behind him in that first run, I just couldn't do anything. And I hadn't realized actually how good Massey was on the long run. He had his setup just so loose that I don't know how he drove it, frankly, and that enabled him to sit behind me in the draft. I was talking to him post race. He actually wasn't tight behind me when he'd have to ride the brakes behind me, and it was almost wrecking him. And once he got by me, I got in that arrow. We're so far deep into the run on the tires that it was a dump truck.
And despite that fact, you still again managed to come home at least in the again come home second. A very overall on paper a very quiet day, but when it came to the sunset and the changing track conditions and with how the first half of the race went to the second half, were you more worried about your tires and your fuel consumption as the race went on?
Not so much. I mean, I did take some big swings at it on pit road, trying to loosen it up, just seeing how the track was running and how it was in traffic. And, we had a bunch of cautions. I really didn't see that last run playing out all the way to the end. And I would have been sitting real good if we could have got a caution about halfway through that final run. I felt like I had a really good chance at that point, but you never know what's going to happen. And, I thought maybe some people were going to short pit. When I saw that I could make it on fuel, I was like, oh, I'm going to run it to the end. I'm not going to come in and split it in half. I hope some other people had, and that they wouldn't be able to make up the time. It just didn't work out that way. But, I'm learning a little bit more about these open sets and what to do on pit road. And I guess I just got to learn how to run a really loose car.
And hopefully that does play into effect with, especially after these first three races, where they have definitely been something of really just trying to figure out who has the best performance at which type of track. And so far, well, you do have at least a chance to challenge later on. So before we go ahead and let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your second place finish?
Yeah, it's my teammates at Hazy Day Racing and our alliance with Haters Make Us Famous. We work a lot on the setup throughout the week. I know me and Anthony especially, and all the guys that come out Sunday morning to run the NIS is kind of like a final prep and throwing stuff at the setup, try to practice for our Sunday nights here. And we have a good cooperation going, and I can't thank them enough. You for broadcasting, all the admins on the league, our sponsors, and everyone that comes on board in my car. Do the best we can every week, and we'll try again next week.
We thank you for your time, Joshua, and we hope to probably come back later on in the season.
Hopefully.
So that's the 81 of Joshua Susi. And now, as we hit the wrong button by mistake, gotta love that. We go now to your race winner, that being Stephen Massey here in the 97 machine. Not his first rodeo when it comes to winning races. Now this time he's actually used to doing burnouts on the front straightaway, and this time with a lot less banking when it comes to the front straightaway, in reference to Daytona from a couple weeks ago from the first race of the season. Steven, you won again. The first repeat winner and the second one you have in the first 3 weeks. Already you're putting on a very dominating performance.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about winning here at Homestead. It's one of my favorite tracks. I didn't expect the Daytona win, to be honest with you, but it's a crapshoot. But this one, I like it a lot.
And it went very well, especially here at the second half of the race. More specifically, when it came to you chasing down Joshua Susi and just sitting right behind him, was there really any product of the dirty air that was pretty much hurting your car's performance at some point? Because once you got by him, you just went flying.
Yeah, so I was really loose, and like the first 20 laps I couldn't keep up with him. He was way faster than me, and I slowly worked my way back to him. But I was really loose, so every time I tried to pass him, I almost wrecked the car. And then I guess I got lucky, caught a good break. He caught a lap car on the outside, and I was able to turn underneath him, and that was it. Once I got the clean air, the car handled so good, and then my setup started to swing back towards the tighter side, and that was the end of it there. But I mean, Susie ran a heck of a race.
That was absolutely an absolutely incredible race as well. An incredible battle for that first place position, and well, in the end, well, as we have seen, it comes out with you finishing out on top. So, what a race! What the first 3 weeks as well, coming into this season, three completely different tracks. Your thoughts on that?
It's been interesting. Um, I'm happy to survive last week at the Daytona Road Course, and obviously the Daytona Restrictor Plate because most people don't survive either. And then to come out on top here at Homestead, get us good momentum for the beginning of the season, and it's fun. I mean, it's very interesting the layout the way they started this season. So I like it.
Before we go ahead and let you go, you pretty much know what's coming up next at this point, but anyone that you like to give a shout out to for your race win tonight?
Oh yeah, all the teammates, Pay to Win Setups, our sponsor, ECR in general, the admins for taking care of things and make sure the race goes as smooth as possible, and then everyone that raced clean on the track, put on a good show, and you for broadcasting.
I thank you for your time. Congratulations once again on your second win.
Thank you.
That was the 97 of Stephen Massey, second again race winner in the first 3 weeks. And one of the first 3 weeks this has been, one of the 3 weeks this has been just in general. To touch on what Joey Stats had also said, this is indeed the last broadcast that we will be able to do, unfortunately, due to the fact of time constraints and the fact that, well, busy schedules will be busy schedules. So, unfortunately, as of right now, and at least for the foreseeable future, broadcasts in general on this channel will not entirely be happening, and we'll see how everything goes in the meantime when it comes to personal scheduling. But for me, this is pretty much the last broadcast that I will be doing on this channel for a while. So we'll see how things go. But thanks to the Elite Championship Racing League, thanks to their sponsors as well for having me do this for 3 weeks. Greatly appreciate it. And hopefully later on in the year or sometime in the future or whenever, really, we'll see, in general at least as well, we can get back to broadcasting on this channel as well. In the meantime, we thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you all whenever we come back next time.